Guys, it's so hot. I just need to cool down a little bit. This is not sponsored by Jisoo Life, but Jisoo Life, if you wanna sponsor me, let me know because I do not leave the house without this fan. Hi everyone, welcome back to This Book Belongs to Pam, and yes, we are gonna be doing some serious business right here. In fact, I am gonna put on my glasses because that's how serious this is. I just really need to see. I have been subscribed to Fairyloot since February of 2023. I at one point have subscribed to both the YA box and the adult box. And since then, I haven't really fully checked, audited, measured if the Fairyloot books are actually books that I enjoy. I have been reading them on and off. I do have a series in my channel where I just read Fairyloot books because I want to make it a point to read these books because they're not cheap. Honestly, I am a sucker for special editions. I love it when books look extra special, when there's like additional design details, but not all of them have been my favorite as well in terms of design. So today I am gonna be doing this audit where I check out which books have I read, which books I haven't, what my ratings are, do I like the design of it, do I want to unhaul anything, and what is my priority in terms of a future TBR. I have already canceled the YA book box just because I don't really jive with a lot of YA in general, and also I don't really have a need for all of the items that come with it. And now I only have the adult book box, but I also am on my last skip. Like, I can't skip the next box, so I kind of want to do this now and figure out, okay, do I really want to keep this subscription, or do I want to move it, a different subscription, or just, you know, save my money? And that is why we're here. I also hope that this would be helpful for you. If we kind of align on our fantasy taste, then you will know if the stuff in the Fairyloot book boxes are to your taste or not. I'm gonna start by showing you first all of the books that I got from the adult and the YA book boxes. Let's start with the books that I got from the adult book box. I am not gonna go through this in any particular order because I've forgotten which came first. Fae Bound by Sarah L. Arifi, The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty, The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten, Son of Blood and Ruin by Marilee Lares, The Sword Catcher by Cassandra Clare, A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen, The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers, Evocation by S.T. Gibson, and two books that I've already unhauled, The Curse of Saints by Kate Jamis and Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Chow. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've gotten 11 Fairyloot books, but like I said, I've already unhauled 2 of them. Of the 11 adult fantasy books that I've gotten, I've only read 1, 2, 3, and then the 2 that I've unhauled, so 5 books in total. I have Storygraph on my phone just to check my ratings, but let's just go through first the 2 that I've already unhauled because you already know what I've done with them. I've unhauled them. The Curse of Saints by Kate Jamis, I gave this one 2.75 stars, and then Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Chow, I gave that 2.5 stars. So I've already unhauled both of those books. Now the 3 that I still have here is Foxglove King by Hannah Witten. I gave this one 3 stars. I just did a reading vlog on it, so I will leave a link to that below. And then I also read The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by S.A. Chakraborty. This is actually the first Fairyloot book that I've ever gotten, and I gave this one 4.25 stars. And then lastly, I have The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon, and I gave this 4 stars. So yeah, these are the surviving books that I have already read, and right now I am not gonna be unhauling any of these books. One, I really love this both for the story itself and the book design. That is gonna be like a factor as well, whether I keep the book or not. Like, look at this map. I love that. And then so pretty. Like, I'm so happy that this was the first book that I got because this really gave me a really good impression of the book box itself, and I just love this story. I know that this is also a series. I don't think there has been any announcement yet of when the second book is gonna come out, so right now we're just waiting, which I'm fine with because I have so many series that I need to catch up on. So yeah, I am gonna be keeping this one until further notice. Now, the next one that I read is The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzan. The story itself, I really enjoyed. For my full review, I'm gonna leave a link to my August wrap-up because that's when I read this. And the book design itself, it's okay. It's not my favorite in terms of the overall vibe, but I do appreciate all of the details that are in this book. First off, it has a colored, like watercolor printed style naked cover, which is kind of rare. I usually see just foiled covers. I barely see anything that has actual printed colors on it. That's nice. The end papers are not my favorite. The art style is not my favorite, including the cover. The colors itself, I understand it, but it's not my favorite. I'm not sure if this is only in the Fairyloot edition or only in the hardcover editions, but it has a map. I know that the paperback doesn't have one. So it has a map, and that map has Philippines in there. So it kind of feels special because of that. And my favorite detail by far is the flipbook animation on the corner. I'm gonna put a clip over here because it's hard to show it like this. And I really love details like that. I think for me that adds to the surprise and delight of a special edition book, which I think they should all have some sort of surprise and delight element because they cost quite a bit. So yeah, I am going to be keeping this. I'm also excited for the second book in this series, and it's also by a Filipino author, so lots of reasons for me to keep this one. And then lastly is Foxglove King by Hannah Witten. This one I am a little bit torn about because I enjoyed the book, the ambience, the vibes of the book, but the story itself and the characters are not my favorite. Quite a bit of pacing and plot issues in it, but I am quite curious about the story and the magic system enough to continue reading the sequel. So I want to hold on to this for now while I'm still reading the series itself. The second book is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm going to be reading that on Kindle Unlimited. The design of the book itself, I initially wasn't a big fan of it. Well, I'm still not a big fan of this cover. I think it's quite similar to the original covers, but what I do love about it is this one. Like, I love the gothic flowers, and I think it really works with the theme of the books where there's a lot of talk of poison, of death. These are, I'm assuming, the poisonous flowers like foxglove, hemlock, belladonna. The reverse dust jacket, not my favorite. It's just an illustration of our main girl, Lore. Not my favorite. This one grew on me. Initially, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I like how it kind of looks like a tie-dye. It's actually the flowers underneath the silver foil, but the stained glass reminds you of the church, which there's a lot of like church religion talk inside of this book. So it makes sense, and it also grew on me. And this looks pretty good. Still not my favorite, but pretty good. Now this one, honestly, I think I would like this better if it was a little bit brighter, because as it is right now, I can barely see the details. There's a light behind the camera so you can super see the details, but when you're just reading it and holding it in your hands, you can barely see the details of the illustration because of how dark it is. There's not a lot of contrast between like the different dark colors, and I think it could have been rendered better so it's not like getting lost in the darkness. Maybe that's a point, but I feel like it's such a shame because you can barely appreciate the illustration. So this one, I am so. If I don't like the second book at all, I might as well just unhaul this. If I do like the second book but not enough to get a physical copy of it, I'm probably gonna unhaul this one. So this one is like standing on the edge of unhaul and haul, and for now it is gonna survive. But now let's go through a more exciting pile, which is the ones that I haven't read yet. I'm not gonna unhaul any of this because I like to read books before I unhaul them, but I do wanna sort of organize them in terms of what I'm gonna prioritize reading first. So let's go through this list. First one, Evocation by S.D. Gibson. We all know that I love A Dowry of Blood. Education and Malice was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but it was okay. And this one, I want to love it so bad. But the thing that I hate about this edition is a couple of the design choices that were made in this book. This one looks fine. I love it. Very simple, has the tarot occult feeling, gag. But once you open the book, I think there's a reverse, yeah, there is a reverse dust jacket design, which is also nice. nice-ish. Like, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's okay. It's a gold version, if you will, of the same thing. The Naked dust jacket, it's okay. It's a simple foil design, very typical, has a lot of occult elements which match the theme. When you open the book, the first thing that I don't understand is why are the end papers glossy? Like, you can see the reflection of my light. Why are they glossy? I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, the colors do pop because of how glossy it is, and the art style, immaculate. I love it, but the glossiness just, it's not for me. But I can forgive that. I can totally forgive that. The thing that I don't like, the thing that I cannot forgive about this book, why is the paper like bright, stark white? It looks like copy paper to me. Like, it looks like the paper that you have in your Xerox machine in school. It looks like a fake book. They just use this type of like white-ish book paper, and that is what it looks and feels like, and I don't understand. Also, the margins, someone needs to review a little bit of like design, because the margins on this one are atrocious. Like, look at how close that page number is to that text. Like, look at how close that is. It is not good design inside. Everything else I enjoyed, but that is really something that I was annoyed by, because this is a book that I have been so excited about, especially because it's S.T. Gibson. It has that darker academia cultish elements that I feel like could translate well to design. But anyway, with that rant over, I am excited to read this book. This is definitely going to be high on my TBR. And the next one that I have at the top is The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. I admittedly have no idea. I think it's a fairy tale-esque type of book, because at the back it says curses are made to be broken, and usually that gives me fairy tale vibes. I don't actually remember what the naked hardcover looks like, so let's look at it together. Okay, it's a simple foil knotting on the back, and I'm not a big fan of this purple. Not a big fan. This one is the end paper designs. It's okay, not my favorite. I like it when there's parallelism with the designs because they match. I like that part. The edges are pretty. It's giving me winter vibes. It's giving me Aurora Borealis vibes, and that is fun. And I think this would be a good like December book based on just the vibes of it. Typesetting looks great. I love it when books have elaborate drop caps. So far, that is giving me good vibes. Ooh, I think this is a different colorway of the original cover, which I actually like it. Honestly, I kind of prefer this cover over this cover, so I might just flip it. Let's do something great. I don't think I've ever flipped a book cover. Like, I've never used the reverse design. Okay, I love this one so much more. I'm gonna keep it like this. I don't know what it's about. Not on the top of my list, to be honest. I'm gonna put it below Evocation. The next one is A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. This is a book that I have anticipated when it was announced because it has like Viking lore in it, and I don't think I've ever read a book with Viking lore, and that interests me so much. And I'm okay with this design. I much prefer the original cover. I love the edges though. It has kind of like runes or maybe like their language. I like that. This and paper, like very badass. I love it. Let me look at the naked hardcover. Oh, I rarely get white books. It's actually more of a bluish gray. Just a foil design underneath. But I love this design so much. And then, ooh, okay, this is getting me quite excited to read this book. I think I'm gonna put this right below Evocation. Next one is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I do not love this cover. I hate it when there's like just people on the cover. It's fine if there's like people but there's something happening, maybe like a scene or some elaborate design, but when it's just literally half body shots of, I guess, the men in this book, I don't love that. But what I do love about this is the edges. I love that it's a town. I love the design is, you know, for laying the book flat. The inside, honestly, not very creative in my opinion. This one, again, basic foil. Not a big fan. It's okay. Actually, this one is better than most because it actually has the title of the book in the naked cover, which I prefer. End papers, not a fan. It's not giving me a scene. What I want with end papers is either they're useful, like maps, or they set a vibe. So it's either like, I don't know, paraphernalia that are related to the story or a scene from the story. I don't want just character art, honestly. That's not my vibe. I mean, they're pretty, the artwork is nice. It doesn't add to my enjoyment of the book. I have not had the best experience with Cassandra Clare. I've only read the first 3 books of the Mortal Instrument so far, and I know that those are shit, and I think everyone agrees. I am going to be reading the Infernal Devices soon, so maybe I will save this once I've actually read a good Cassandra Clare book, so I am more inclined to go into this with higher hopes. That is Cassandra Clare's Swordcatcher. I'm going to put it even below. The next one is Son of Blood and Ruin by Marilee Lares. I love this cover. It's tropical Mexican vibe and I really like that. It's also quite different from all of the other Fairyloot books because it's bright. Most Fairyloot books are like so dark in terms of the cover, but this one is very bright, very tropical, and I like that. Also love this tropical bird on the edges. Well, this one I'm not a big fan, but it's nice that it's the reverse design, so you don't really need to see that. I love this so much. Like, it looks like an old book. You know, that illustration style that makes it feel like a found book, a found tome, and I love that. It's just the same front and back, but it is such a statement and I love it. And then the inside, this is what I'm saying when it should give a vibe. This one gives me a vibe of what the place looks like, and it also gives me 2 times of the day. So pretty. I love that so much. Like, I'm excited to read this, but I think it's more of a summer adventure Indiana Jones vibe type of book, so I am gonna be putting it below the winter type books that I have. The next one is a highly anticipated book by a lot of people, but I actually don't know much about it. I just know that the author has a series before, and I think that series is well loved. So I have Fae Bound by Sarah L. Arifi. This cover is, it's okay. I like it. I like that it's very similar to the original cover with differences in color. I think the original has a moon on it. This one has a sun, and I like how it's just subtly different. This one is okay. It's nice. Not my favorite, not bad, not good. We do have a reverse jacket design, which is giving off YA vibes, honestly. But yeah, there's that. Kind of reminds me of the tree from Black Panther. This is the naked cover. Quite simple foiling. And then we have the end papers. It's good. Not my favorite in terms of style, but it's good. I really like it. It has a little bit of vibe. And you get to look at the characters. Also signed by the author in here. I think this is printed. Yeah, it's printed. And yeah, I'm like indifferent to it right now. I'm not like super interested in reading it anytime soon. I think this would go well with Son of Blood and Ruin. Like, they both give off more summer vibes to me. So I am gonna put it over here. Actually, I'm gonna put Son of Blood and Ruin on the top. And that is all of the adult books that I have. This is the current TBR order, like how excited I am from most excited to least excited to read, and you might see this in a future Fairyloot reading vlog. Let's move on to the YA books. For YA, the books that I have received are Forest Grimm by Katrin Purdy, The Scarlet Alchemist by Kylie Lee Baker, What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez, Seven Faces Saints by M.K. Lobb, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton, A Tempest of Fee by Hafsa Faisal. I also have 3 that I've already unhauled. The first one is If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun, Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsupolu, Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. So in total, I have received 10 YA books from Fairyloot. Now let's go through which ones I've read and what ratings I gave them. I'm gonna start first with the ones I've already unhauled. So I have read If I Have to Be Haunted by Miranda Sun. I gave that 3 stars. I've read Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsupolu. I gave that 3.75 stars. And Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. I gave that 3 stars. I have also read The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy. I've included it in my recent Fairyloot reading vlog, so I gave this one 3.75 stars. I have also read Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. This was in the same reading vlog as Forest Grimm, and I gave this one 2.5 stars. And lastly, I've read A Tempest of Fee by Hafsa Faisal. I also have a reading vlog for this one. I will link that down below. And I gave this one 3.75 stars. Of the books that I've already read, obviously I've unhauled 3. Sing Me to Sleep, the design of the book itself is quite basic, quite simple. Not my favorite, honestly. I feel like it doesn't really evoke anything in me. The naked hardcover is quite pretty. I like that it's printed with a design, and I like the moon. I really like how the moon is glowing. It's not foiled or anything, but it just rendered so well that it's glowing, and I love that. Although I have no idea what the moon is doing there. Like, I've read this book, I have a vague idea of why the moon is there, but it's not really that essential to the story. They do mention it a lot. They use the word loon a lot. They say loon instead of month because, you know, lunar month and all. But other than that, the moon doesn't really play a big factor. I would have wanted more like waves, ocean, because I feel like that would have given me more of the vibe of what's actually inside the book. Unfortunately for this one, I am going to be unhauling it. I did give the book a low rating, and I'm not excited to read the sequel as well, so this is gonna be an unhaul for me. And then the next one is The Forest Grimm. This book is one of the prettiest books that I own. This one is very unassuming, like it's very typical, very basic, but if you remove the dust jacket, first of all, you get a very fairy tale-esque reverse dust jacket design, and this fits the story so well because it has a different Grimm characters here, and the vibe, it's just fairy tale, and this is a fairy tale reimagining, so it works so well. And then you get this naked cover design. I am frothing at the mouth with this one. This is obviously not the title of the book, but I actually love that. Instead of just printing, you know, the same designs that I have for the cover in like foil, they went above and beyond and use the magical book that's inside the story and designed the cover as that. So this feels like the Book of Fortune that is mentioned inside. It feels like a fairy tale book. It feels so magical, so whimsical, and it just fits the vibe so much. And I love it when design is subtle but intentional, and this, so good. And then you have the inside cover, quite vibey. I love the art style. It just has our 2 main characters. You have the edge design. Like, all of those are quite, it's okay. They're not bad, they're not good, but when you close the book, it's so good. I'm even considering just shelving this as is without putting on the dust jacket. Maybe I might do that, but not now. So obviously I am gonna be keeping this book. I am curious about the sequel as well, so that's a plus. And I also like the writing style and the story, so it makes keeping this book so much easier and guilt-free. So yeah, I am gonna be keeping this one. And then lastly, I have A Tempest of Fee by Hafsa Faisal. The story itself, it was just so-so for me. I am curious about the sequel because the ending left on such a cliffhanger. The book design itself, it is okay. It is above average for me. Like, I love that the teacup has blood on it, and you have the steam with a mix of like reds and pinks and oranges. What I do love about this book are a couple of the design details. Naked hardcover is basic, nothing to write home about. And papers though, like I love them so much. Like, I love how you got the full cast in here, and then you have this, but you also have the same cast in a more formal outfit, in a different outfit. And also, frankly, this guy is chef's kiss. But anyway, aside from that, there are a couple of design details here that I actually enjoy. And like I said, if there are like lots of details in a special edition book that I enjoy, I am more inclined to keep it. You have a author's note that is handwritten and bound into the book. And Hafsa Faisal's handwriting is like top tier. It is top tier. And then you also have this. This is the section dividers, and this is a heist novel. So you have their blueprints, their plans, their sketches, and I just like that. I think it really adds to the ambience of the book, and it makes you feel like you are with them in doing the heist. And it's also a cheeky way of adding like a map of the place that they were going to be breaking into. So yeah, I am going to be keeping this one, even though the book itself, like the story wasn't 5 stars, it wasn't even 4 stars for me, but I have high hopes for the sequel, and I just love the design, the artwork. I'm gonna be keeping this one. Now let's move on to the books that I haven't read and put them in order. So I only have 4 actually, which is surprising. So the first one that I have here is 7 Faceless Saints by M.K. Love. This design, I was quite disappointed by. First off, the print on the cover is blurry. I don't think that's intentional because it's just blurry. Like, the printing is just not good. Like, this text, like, it's blurry, and I do not appreciate that. I love the design concept, but I do think that you could have done more with a religious type of motif, which I think, you know, there's a lot that can be done with religious motifs. Like, for example, in the one I showed earlier, which is Foxglove Gang, they did the stained glass thing, and I just thought that there was a lot of potential for this one. The next thing I don't like is the design on the edges is just this design printed on here. It's this statue. Like, I don't care if that statue is so important to the story, but if you're gonna be adding design elements, might as well make them unique and not just copy pasting the same design over and over again. Like, I get it if it's like a pattern, fine. It's more of like thematic, but if you're just printing the exact same graphic, like, it's such a waste of space. I feel like such a waste of potential for this book. So those two, I'm not a big fan. I mean, even the print on the back is blurry. Like, the blurbs at the back, they are blurry as fuck. Now, I haven't opened this in a while. I do like the naked hardcover because it's red and white. I think the stark difference between red and white just screams religious horror to me, because this is reminding me of like what nuns wear, and then red is just like blood. So I do like that. I do like the naked hardcover design. There's nothing on the desk jacket. This one, it's okay. Like I said, I would prefer like a scene that is more vibey, but I guess it's okay. It's fine. I'm just not a big fan of the art style of this one, but it's fine. But yeah, that's my gripe with this book. And honestly, only because it has darker undertones, I would be interested in reading this sometime soon. Now, the next one is What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. I'm not a fan of this cover. I much prefer the original. I am a big fan of this edges, which has like hieroglyphics. And I like, again, how bright and colorful this is. Very desert vibes. Now, the inside, we have a reverse dust jacket design, which I actually do like. I feel like I would have enjoyed this as the cover if it had the book title and all of the book details in it. I hate it when they do reverse dust jackets, but they don't put like the name, even just the name of the book and the author in there, because how am I gonna know what book this is like 20 years from now? The design on the naked cover is quite good. I like how bold it is, and it just has that big arch temple thing, and yeah, it's okay. I like the color scheme of the naked cover. This one is vibey. I like it. Actually, I think this is my first time seeing this. Why does she have such long hair? Is this a Rapunzel retelling? I don't know. But yeah, there is that. Is there anything in here? There's like a timeline and a map. I like that. But yeah, that is What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. Similar to the other colorful books that I have earlier, I feel like this is a summer read and not a Halloween spooky season going into the holiday season read. So I'm gonna put it below. The next one that I have is The Scarlet Alchemist by Kylie Lee Baker. I am just okay with the design of this book. I do like that it is quite a different design from other fantasy book. It has like this geometrical vibe to it. This one, again, if you're gonna be doing edges, might as well make it different from this one, but this is just the same design. I don't love that. The naked hardcover design, not a big fan of. I don't know, it just doesn't give me anything. The end papers I do like, but the characters look quite young. This is YA, yes, but the characters look very young to me. I don't know. I don't know if it's just the art style. This one looks like older to me, but this one looks quite young. But I like the art style so much, and I like that it's giving me some vibes. I think I want to prioritize 7 Faceless Saints just so I can decide whether I want to keep it or not, honestly. And then lastly is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I know this is well loved. I don't 100% know what it's about. I do love the cover design. I like this one. It's very simple. And I don't know, I just haven't gravitated to this book. The naked hardcover is just okay. I like that it's white, but the gold is not very visible. It's hard to see because of the contrast. This one is okay as well. It's not my favorite. So I like that it's kind of scrapbooky, but it's not my favorite design. I think the gold foiling, or is this gold? Yeah, the gold foiling is not doing it for me in this book. I do like that it's black and white, but just the gold foiling it's not for me. So yeah, that is Divine Rivals. I am curious about this, but I'm not like so interested in it right now. I think I'm gonna put it below Scarlet Alchemist. These are the remaining adult books that I have not read yet in the order that I want to read them in. So this is the priority to least priority at the moment. Now that we have all of that sorted, I just want to go through and look at the ratings that I've given the books and see what my average rating is. So for the YA books, again, these are the books that I've read, I gave an average rating of 3.35 across 5 books. The highest rated book is 3.75, which is 3 books, and the lowest rated is 2.5. Now for the adult books, I've read 6 in total, and my average is 3.25 stars. The highest rated book is 4.25 stars, and the lowest rated book is 2.5 stars. I have on hold a total of 6 books, which is 4 YA books and 2 adult books. So that kind of gives you an idea of where my head is at and why I have decided to cancel the YA book subscription, because I have been unholding them quite a bit. Now for overall, like all the books that I've read so far from Fairyloot, I have an average rating of 3.3, so very middle of the road, and honestly that's what I expected based on what I remember of the books. And I guess the pressing question is, am I going to cancel or not? And my answer is right now, I'm not going to cancel the adult. I've already canceled the YA one. I'm not going to cancel the adult one because I have so much more that I need to read. And I feel like I have not given it a good, proper try. I think I'm going to hold on to my subscription until like early next year. And then I'm going to do another one of these audits after like 4 months or something like that. Just to see where I'm at. If my rating dips below 3, I'm definitely going to cancel my Fairyloot subscription. And yeah, with that, our audit is complete. I hope that this video was helpful. I just really wanted to do this for myself myself to like work through my thoughts on whether or not this subscription is still worth it. If you want to watch more of my Fairyloot reading vlogs, I do have the playlist down below. And thank you for hanging out with me and, you know, working through this audit with me and convincing myself to not cancel my subscription. But yeah, thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!